Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Welcome to r/EntitledParents. Possibly the best story-based sub on all of Reddit, so I won't waste another second and get straight into this first post by user/InkPirate. I honestly thought the next time I'd be writing in Entitled Parents, it would be about one of the EMs I've come across in the wild. But alas, my own wonderful entitled mother decided to let out her entitled side again. So here I am. The people involved are me and my mother Karen. If you've read my previous post, you know that Karen is just delusional, crazy, a truly repulsive person, entitled, barely human, pick any or all of the above and add your own as needed. And that I have very little contact with her, with good reason. We do still speak on the phone occasionally, around once a month, because I don't like remaining resentful and holding grudges, even if they are completely deserved. Hate breeds hate and all that jazz, and I like being happy. Well, the day before yesterday was one of the days I decided to give her a quick call to check if she was alive. During the conversation, I made a passing remark about having an appointment with my therapist, at which point she went very quiet indeed for a while, and then started questioning me about the therapist while trying to sound like she's completely indifferent about it. After getting completely nowhere in her questioning, she announced that she's driving to see me the next day. Now, understand, this is completely unheard of, and also completely unwelcome. We live in different cities, it's a long drive, and I just don't like her company. It's been well over 2 years since she's come to visit, and this was more than a little odd. I explained to her that I couldn't meet her that day. I didn't want to, and I was working so I couldn't anyway. She completely ignored me and told me that I can make time to see my mother and that she was coming anyway. I kept asking her what was the point of her coming, a valid question in our relationship. We don't do social visits. And she said, "Does she need a reason to come and visit her son?" I replied, "Yes, I've got better things to be doing, so if it's not important, what's the point?" She obviously just kept ignoring me, told me what time she'd be arriving the next day, so unfortunately, I was getting a visit from Karen. I've lived where I do for about 3 or 4 years, and on the few times she's been to the city I live in, she's got this weird obsession of trying to get into my house. She's not welcome. She always tries different methods like, "Oh, I want to get you something for your place. Let's go and see what you need." Or, "How's the view from your place? Can I see?" Or, "Can I use your toilet quickly?" So naturally, I don't let her. I've got nothing to hide from her. I genuinely don't care what she thinks about any aspect of my life. But I grew up with literally zero privacy. She and my dad would go through all my things constantly when I was younger. Bags, pockets, phone, room, etc, etc. So now, when she's trying to do something that she has no right to do, I take great enjoyment from stopping her doing those things. And I'm always sure to politely let her know that the reason she's being treated like this is because of how she treated me for so long. And it's simply a taste of her own medicine. The look on her face is genuinely priceless when I do this. The time arrives and she lets me know she's outside. So I go down and meet her. Surprise, surprise, she had reason to try to get inside. This particular plan to get into my place was that she'd brought with her loads of her second-hand house stuff that she didn't want anymore, and neither did I. 2 big bags in a box and told me she'd brought me some useful things for my place. So, can I hold the door while she carries it in? I said, "Don't worry about it. You watch the car, I'll carry it up." There was no reason to watch the car at all. No, it's heavy. I'll carry it and help you unload it." If it's heavy, all the more reason for me to carry it. Anyway, what even is it all? "Don't be silly, I need the exercise. It's a load of old stuff from my house that I don't want anymore. It'd be very useful for you." She has zero knowledge of the things that I own. I've got everything I need, thanks. "I've brought it all this way, why are you rejecting presents?" As I said, I don't need anything, and I don't want the things that you are effectively throwing out. Shall we stop wasting time and go and talk about whatever it is you want to discuss? Yes. So, open the door, let's put these things inside and go. You know you're not coming inside, so either put them back in the car or I'll take them inside and then we can go. She realized at this point this plan of hers wasn't going to work either, so just left the things on the floor and got back in the car. I took them inside, hopped in the car with a big smile and said, "See, that wasn't so bad, was it?" The look on her face nourished my soul. So we arrive at the cafe, sit down and order some stuff. I cut right to it because I really do have work to be doing, and well, spending time with this woman is close to being the very last thing I would choose to be doing with my days. So what was so important that you had to drive here then? When we spoke the other day, you said you were seeing a therapist. Yes, and? Why do you need to see a therapist? Why is that your business? I'm your mother, I have a right to know everything about you. You really don't. Just tell me why you're seeing a therapist. Because I think it's a healthy thing for me to be doing. But what do you talk about while you're there? I really don't have to tell you anything about it all. I'm your mother. I have a right to know what's wrong with my son. I couldn't help but laugh a little at that comment. You've never cared what's wrong with me, ever. And usually you're what's wrong with me. How can you say that? Just tell me what you talk about in therapy. I'll tell you a little, but she won't like it at all. The only reason I was willing to tell her anything is because I knew the effect it would have on her. I'm an adult, I can take it. Fine. Well, we speak about my childhood a lot. What about it? One thing is the fact that I don't have a single happy memory from when I was younger involving you or Dad. Dad's dead now. The only happy memories from when I was young involve my dog, my friends, and playing football. That's literally it. I can't believe you're lying to people about that. Lying? You're joking, right? You made my life miserable. Why do you think I moved out so young and stopped speaking to you for so long? Hormones? Jesus Christ. If I'm lying, please tell me about these happy memories from my childhood that I'm now blocking out. So I take you don't remember skipping down the street with me holding hands? Now, I was genuinely interested as to what she was going to say here, but this made me laugh out loud. No, I definitely don't remember skipping down the road with you. Now that I think about it, I can barely remember a moment when we've even walked down the street together at all. What even was this? I must have been about 5. You were 4. Seriously? See, I told you you've got happy memories with me. Okay, well, first of all, if I don't remember something, then it's not a memory, is it? And also, this can't have been a regular thing. Oh, no, we did it once or twice, but it's a lovely memory. Once or twice, you do understand that one little thing from when I was 4 doesn't overwrite the years of trash you put me through, don't you? Because it doesn't. At all. And the fact that the happy memory from my childhood that you can think of happened once or twice when I was 4 proves my point. You're being dramatic. You're delusional, but I don't hold it against you anymore. Hence why we're still speaking. There's no point in talking to you about these things because you deny it, blame it on me, say it wasn't that bad. That's why I thought it was pointless you coming today, so if that's all you wanted to talk about, then I'm going to go, because I've got stuff I need to finish. Okay, fine, but please stop lying in therapy about me. I'll keep being completely honest about you to my therapist and my friends. If you didn't want to be spoken about badly, you should have tried being a decent person. It's too late for that now. Kay just sits there staring at me. And me with a big smile. Well, this was lovely. Thanks for coming. Drive safe on your way back. I paid the bill and walked out of the cafe. Sorry this ended up long. Apparently I find it quite therapeutic writing about my DNA donor for you lovely folks. Wow, that mother seems completely delusional. I'm glad you're in a better place now, OP. And here's our next post by user/Tartar Buildup. So, I have Asperger's syndrome, and I also suffer from anxiety, which often manifests as a stutter. I'm usually a very talkative and upbeat person, but it often takes me a while to actually get my words out. When I'm trying to order at a restaurant, usually the staff are very patient and sympathetic. I get self-conscious pretty easily. So, entitled Daddy comes along while I'm ordering food at a coffee shop. He's standing behind me with his little kid as I'm trying to order. Stutter kicks in and the lady at the counter is pleasantly helping me along. Come on, just spit it out for frick's sake, we've been waiting ages. I try not to look at entitled Dad and continue with my own business. I briefly glance down at his kid who is starting to look extremely uncomfortable. My kid's autistic, you know, we can't wait this long. Yeah, so am I, so maybe you should be a little more understanding. Just hurry the F up, mate. He puts on a fake stutter. Stop being an attention seeker. I was kinda shocked he was just casually swearing in front of his little kid. What a great example to set, right? So I continue trying to finish giving my order so I can finally step aside and let this butthole have his turn once I've paid for mine. I'm feeling pretty self-conscious again now, and I'm starting to feel myself about to cry. I have very strong emotional reaction to the smallest confrontations. I think the lady serving me probably saw the look in my eyes. Now, I've never met any of the employees here, but the woman on the cash register is and always will be my hero. After he tried ordering, she began asking him loads of unnecessarily specific questions about what sauces and extras he wanted. But she was putting on a really exaggerated stutter. Do you want anything else? He was standing there trying to get her to spit it out as well. But she was taking like a full minute to say each sentence. You could see the cogs turning in Entitled Dad's head. Edie's kid was kind of laughing by now. I saw the register lady shoot him a little smile. Right, you can stop this right now. I'm sorry, sir. I have a speech impediment. I got my food and headed for a table, but I had a perfect view of Edie trying to place his order and pay very slowly. It took no less than 15 minutes to finally get his order in. It was a very slow day. The kid looked happy when he was given a huge lump of marshmallows for having to wait. I like to pretend that Entitled Dad got spit in his coffee. I tipped the waitress like £20 after that. I didn't even have to get revenge. A kind-hearted waitress punished that butt for me. First of all, who would even make fun of a kid like that? And second of all, this waitress. Mad respect to her. There are very few people who would have dared to pull a trick like that off, and she handled it beautifully. And here's our next post by user/NannyLyn62. My hobby used to be making quilts from vintage cloth. I would buy the cloth, usually flour and feed print sacks, from the 30s and 40s at flea markets and antique stores. I pieced them by hand and sewed the squares together on my old treadle sewing machine. Then I would hand quilt the tops using vintage blankets as batting and older cotton thread. This took a lot of time, but the end results were beautiful and heirloom quality. Besides, it was a lot of fun. One year, I made such a quilt for my brother-in-law's birthday, husband's younger brother. He and his wife freaked out over it and thanked me profusely. 2 days later, my mother-in-law walked into my house without even knocking. Her reasoning was that it was her son's house, and therefore her right to do so. I had been super busy all day and had just sat down on the living room floor to play Super Mario Kart with my boys. I was surprised to see her. She usually avoided me if my husband wasn't around. She snorted at me when she saw me on the floor and asked me if this was what I did all day, and then added that it must be nice to have so much free time. I've always worked from home. You would be surprised at how many people think that this isn't a real job. Then she dumped a bunch of fabric swatches out of a bag and onto my sofa. Before I could ask her what she was doing, she started telling me that she wanted a quilt like the one I made for brother-in-law. But she needed hers to be bigger and with these colors. Oh, and she wanted new cloth, not that old junk. She brought these swatches so I would know what to buy for her quilt. At first, I was too stunned to speak up. Then, I was too angry to trust my mouth. My two boys never liked this woman, and they scrambled to their feet and ran out of the room. I envied them for this, because I was stuck facing this cow alone. This woman had always been as awful to me as she could. She told my boys to their little faces that they were not her grandsons because they looked nothing like her son. She told her other grandkids this too, so we weren't singled out. She had told all of her 5 sons that she would only recognize her daughter's kids because she knew those were her grandkids. She only claimed the other grandkids as hers when she wanted to look good around other people. This woman had tried to fix my husband up with other women for 5 years after we were married. This woman, who'd been trying to make me freak out for the past 18 years, was so entitled that she thought I should do all this work for her for 3. So I looked through the swatches, asked for the dimensions she wanted as well as the block pattern. Thought for a few moments, then told her, yeah, I can do all that for about $5,000. I figured that this was a large enough sum to freak her out and make her go away. If not, well sure, I'll make her a quilt for that stupid amount. $5,000? But you gave one to brother-in-law? That was a birthday present. Well, then this can be my birthday present. I've never given you a birthday present. The only time I tried, you handed it back unopened. You told me that you only accepted gifts from family or friends, and that I was neither. $5,000 upfront or no quilt. Frowning and pressing her lips together, she gathered up her stupid swatches and left. I opened the door for her and held it so she couldn't slam it. She was a slammer. As I watched her drive away, I couldn't help but think about how much fun that had been. So, for the rest of the year, my husband's other 3 brothers got quilts for their birthdays. Also, to add insult to injury, I made them out of new cloth and not that old junk, as well as the colours and patterns my mother-in-law wanted, because I knew it would get back to her that I had done this. That crazy woman tried as hard as she could to guilt one of her sons into giving her their quilt. Nope, didn't happen. 1993 was a fun year. Oh, it truly is awesome when the power is suddenly in your hands and you can get back at entitled people. That's the stories I want to hear from this sub. But guys, I think that story will be the last one for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel for Reddit videos 3 times every single week. But with that said, that is it from me. I hope you all enjoyed, and all I want to do is see you all here next time. See you later, guys.